Hello, my name is Miss Jones. I teach elementary school math, and welcome to my channel, Miss Math Jones. Today, we're going to be working on our third grade Eureka Module 4, Lesson 6 homework. The homework objective is to analyze or figure out different rectangles and reason about their area. So reason is it's kind of like saying estimate about their area. Let's get started. Okay, so today's homework is really short. So you may want to pause the video as we go through it just to make sure that you have everything that you need on your paper. All right, so let's start with number 1. It says use the grid to answer the questions below. All right, so this array looking object is the grid. Now, let's start with the instructions for letter A. The instructions for letter A says to draw a line to divide the grid into 2 equal rectangles. Shade in one of the rectangles that you created. Well, in order to divide the grid equally, I need to know how wide it is. Okay, so let's count off these squares so that we can figure out how wide the grid is, or the width. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it's 8 units wide. Well, what's half of 8? Because I want to divide it equally. What is half of 8? 4. Right, so I'm going to count out 4 units across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to draw my dividing line right here. Right there. So you should have a dividing line right there. Now, I'm going to reread my instructions to make sure that I've done everything. So we're still on letter A. It says draw a line to divide the grid into 2 equal rectangles. Okay, so I drew a line. I divided my grid into 2 equal rectangles. Then it says shade in one of the rectangles that you created. So you're going to use your pencil or crayon or color pencil, whatever you have available, to shade in one of the rectangles. So I shaded in that one. I shaded it in a light blue. All right, so that means we've done everything that we were supposed to do for letter A. And let's go ahead and put a little check mark there. So that's finished. All right, let's go ahead and move on to letter B. Letter B says to label the side lengths of each rectangle. Okay, well, let's start by labeling the one that we shaded in first. I'm going to label the long side. Okay, let's get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I know for sure we're going to have to figure out the area, right? So I'll go ahead and start writing my area equation or formula below it. So area equals, and I know my length is 8, so I'm going to go ahead and write in my 8. All right, now I have to go ahead and label my width, or how wide this rectangle is. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And area is length times width. So I already have my length, which is 8, times my width, which is 4. And what's 8 times 4? Well, if you said 32, you're absolutely correct. So the area for this rectangle on my left-hand side is 32. Now, I still have to label the rectangle on my right-hand side, which is the white one. So let's go ahead and label the length of the white rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so the length of the white rectangle on my right-hand side is 8. So my area, I'm going to go ahead and create my area formula right below it. Area equals 8 times, and let's go ahead and count the width. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my area for the white rectangle is 8 times 4. Now, we have the same exact area on the left side, the blue one that I shaded in, as we do on the right side, the white one that we did not shade in. So we already know that 8 times 4 equals 32. So both rectangles have an area of 32. So that means that if we go back and look at our instructions for letter B, label the side lengths of each rectangle, we've done that. So we're going to go ahead and put a little check mark there. Now let's look at the instructions for letter C. Letter C says to write an equation to show the total area of the two rectangles. Okay, so we have two rectangles. I'm going to name them. So the rectangle that we shaded in, I'm going to name it rectangle A. And I'm going to go ahead and write the equation part for rectangle A. So we have rectangle A, the area is 32. And that means the other rectangle is going to be rectangle B. And so we're going to write down that we're going to add rectangle A to rectangle B. So rectangle B, the area of rectangle B also equals 32. So on your papers, you should have rectangle A, area equals 32, plus rectangle B, area equals 32. So we have 32 plus 32. And what is 32 plus 32? Go ahead and do your math. And once you perform your calculations, then you should get 64. So our answer is that 64 is the total area for the two rectangles together. Now, if you need to go ahead and pause your video so that you can write all of this information down or just to check your work, go ahead and do so now. Let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 says Alexa cuts out the two equal rectangles from problem 1A and puts the shorter sides together. Draw Alexa's new rectangle and label the side lengths below. So I'm going to put the short ends together when I draw them. So this is going to be the first one. So at first, the rectangle was vertical, it was straight up and down. Now it's horizontal, okay? And that means that the short ends are going to be pushed together. And this is the second one. So see how the short ends are together? All right, the short ends are together in the middle. So we drew Alexa's rectangle, and now it tells us to label the side lengths below. So let's label the side lengths. So this side would be 4 because we're using the rectangles from number 1, okay? So all of the measurements are the same. We're just changing the location. All the measurements are the same, just changing location. Okay, now the long side from number 1 was 8. which means this long side on the red rectangle is going to also be 8. All right, now for area, because I need to make sure I find my area, and the formula for area is length times width. I already have my length. My length is 4, right? But my width, it's longer because I have my blue one pushed together with my red rectangle now. And so now it's longer. It's no longer just 8 by itself. It's 8 plus 8. So now I have a new width. So my new width is 16. So my area formula for this one is going to look a little different just because of the way that we've changed the location of our rectangles. So our area equation for the two long rectangles, now it's a one big long rectangle, they're just pushed together. Our new area equation is going to be 4 times 16. So let's go ahead and set up our equation using the standard algorithm. So 16 times 4. All right, so first things first, we start with the ones place, and we're going to multiply 6 times 4. All right, what's 6 times 4? You said 24, you're absolutely correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a 4 in the ones place, and we're going to carry our 2 over the tens place. Now we're going to multiply 4 times 1. And what's 4 times 1? Well, if you said 4, you're absolutely correct. Now, let's not forget we have that 2 hovering over the tens place. So that 2 means that we have to add a whole 20 because it's in the tens place. All right, and let's finish working it out. Starting with our ones place, we add 4 plus 0 is 4, and 4 plus 2 is 6. So the area of our longer rectangle, to where all we did was place the shorter sides right next to each other, is 64. Now, letter C asks us, is the area of the new longer rectangle equal to the total area in problem 1C? Explain why or why not. Well, yes, it is. The area of both were equal to 64. So our answer is going to say yes. The new rectangle is equal to the total area in problem 1C because we did not change the size of the rectangles. We didn't. We just changed the location. Now you may want to pause your video so that you can go ahead and make sure that everything on my screen is on your paper. Or if you just want to check your work, go ahead and do that now because this is the last question of our homework. See, I told you lesson 6 homework was super short. Well, our homework is complete. Congratulations, you finished your homework. As always, I hope this video helped you to complete your homework quickly and correctly. And I really, really, really hope you have a great rest of your day. So, I'll see you next time. Bye.